Okay, welcome to the Tales of Africa podcast with your host Richmond Serchana. Today's episode is going to be mind blowing. We have in our studios Nana Afua Serwaa Adusei, who is a female mechanic in Ghana here, who is empowering young girls in male-dominated professions. She's the recent celebrity in Ghana. She's all over the place because of something wonderful that she did that she will go into later on. But she's here to tell us about her work as a female mechanic and how she's empowering young people, especially young ladies in STEM related fields. So, Nana Afua Serwaa, you're welcome to the Tales of Africa studio. It's an honor to have you.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm so happy to be here. I've heard lots and lots about Tales of Africa. It's wonderful what you're doing to highlight the things that we do here in Africa. So thank you for having me.
Amazing, amazing. You are welcome. So, you're a female mechanic. I'm sure you get a lot of surprises when people get to know the kind of job that you do and they are wondering why you decided to enter into such a field when there are other, probably more appealing fields for young ladies. So, want to
More
know,
appealing.
yeah, not
You
not
know
in
what?
a
You know
bad
what?
way, but
I totally understand you. I totally understand. I
yeah,
mean, something that is very much soft skills, something
yes,
very much for the gender. I totally understand. So what I do goes beyond mechanics. I am an
okay,
auto technician. So the mechanics will be learning about the design of the vehicle, or sorry, the design of the engine or the machine and how it
okay,
works. Now, the technician goes beyond that. Aside learning the design and how it works, the technician does what it does is the diagnostics of the vehicle, how the vehicle runs and sounds, everything in between. So the technician goes beyond being a mechanic. Well, in
okay,
Ghana, what would call a fitter, we
yeah,
don't realize that the fitter has more leverage or is in a better position to work on your car than a mechanic would. And we don't know this because of how we have positioned technical skills in Ghana. I'm sorry to prolong this, but it looks like in Ghana, technical skills, vocational skills is left for school dropouts. It's more of
that's true.
reserved for people who seemingly did not do well in their exams or couldn't afford to progress in life. So the effect of this is we do not give technical occupation the respect that it deserves. So yes, I am Mia Fitini. I'm an auto
Wow.
technician and I'm proud of it.
Well, that's wonderful. That's amazing to hear. So let's go a little bit into your background, okay? I mean, what stirred up this desire to be an auto technician? How did it all start about? I know I've read some blogs and articles where you talked about how you saw your cousins and your relatives playing with toy cars, and it kind of ignited that kind of passion in you. So maybe you can talk to us about that.
Well, it came from two things. So the need to um, be a representative for something that wasn't normal in Ghana some 10 years ago. What do I mean? If a woman wants to branch into things that are male dominated. We don't have a lot of women in that space already. So it becomes almost foreign if your daughter comes to you and say, "Hey, mommy, I want to be a pilot." It would kind of look like, okay, ube to me, and I'm air hostess. You'd easily would say, "Hey, you know what? You can be a air hostess. That is an
Yeah,
option for a woman." So we're not getting the representative that we've been looking for. So it started out as me not wanted to be, for lack of a better word, vulnerable if my car should have a breakdown in the middle of the highway at night. I should be able to know the basics. That's one. So just curiosity and wanting to know. That's number one. And number two, I wanted to change the narrative that to get into male dominated spaces once upon a time was based on gender. I needed to change that narrative. Hence, the movement Shecanic. Shecanic is a play of words. She can and also female mechanic. So it's a clarion
amazing.
call. It's a clarion call for women to get a keen interest in what they drive and also key interest in male dominated fields.
Wow, that's really wonderful. Thank you so much, Nanefa, for that. So, how was it like when you were entering into the field itself? Were you able to get the resources that you needed? Were you able to get a training? How did your family, your parents also embrace that initiative of you wanting to enter into such male-dominated fields?
The journey is a destination.
Okay.
I'm still where we are not where we want it to be. But the beauty of it is every day comes with a different challenge and a different reason to push on. My folks have been very supportive. They have been, very kind words, allowing me to be myself, yes. And also, the business didn't start off with a lot of money at hand. We had to
Okay.
find creative ways. We had to find creative ways to make the money or to push. So when I branched out, I started with having a car wash. A car wash is more like a bait. If you roll
Yeah.
in with your car to wash, definitely I'll notice that your engine needs some attention. I'll notice that your bumper or your air condition needs some attention. So it started off with a car wash just to get clientele and to use that to get into the space. So no, we are still looking for trying to get help from stakeholders and organizations. The idea is to put up the biggest academy and hub, auto mechanic hub in West Africa. So the vision is quite large. It's not dependent on Anifua alone. As I said, it's a movement. So every
Yeah.
day is a new challenge and new reason to press on.
Oh wow. Thank you so much for that. And I don't know, how long have you been doing Shecanic? How long since you started it?
I got into this space. October will be exactly 10 years since I got into this
Wow.
space.
It has been
But
long.
it's been very
Wow.
long road. But Shecanic started as a movement back in 2017. So we'll be about 6 years. Yeah, about 6 years Shecanic.
Really interesting. And I'm also aware that you're also using Shecanics as a platform to empower young ladies, especially in the fields of science, technology, mathematics, engineering, and all that. So, how are you able to balance Shecanics being like an auto repair technician job with empowering ladies in the STEM field?
It's everything is linked to it, everything.
Okay.
So the STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. STEM is actually a lifelong understanding of everyday life. It teaches you to be innovative. STEM empowers you. It teaches you to be able to think on your feet, critical thinking. I'm going to use this drive as an example. One would say, hey, what has a drive to the UK got to do with STEM? Well, when we take the science of it, the science, through with STEM, I'm able to understand the mechanics of these vehicles and how the engines have worked throughout the journey. Now, technology. We used Google to help us with the routes. We use Starlink. Elon Musk has some creative innovative called Starlink that we use to get internet along the road. So imagine when you're in your desert or the jungles of Cote d'Ivoire, we needed that Starlink. So that's technology. Now, engineering. Understanding the vehicle's design and maintenance needs was crucial for our ride to be smooth. Now, go on to mathematics. We had to calculate the fuel consumption. We had to calculate the time that we need to keep on track and when to sleep, when to rest, how everything would affect the long journey. So, STEM plays a role in everything, not just with this drive, but everything that we do. Now, I'm using my platform now to push the need for young ladies and young men to have interest in STEM, have interest in it. Sometimes we feel, oh, science is too difficult or engineering is too difficult. No, it's not. It's just because we haven't made it easy for them to understand. So hopefully, moving forward, Team Shecanic would roll out more initiatives and programs to support and encourage ladies to go into STEM.
Thank you so much. We really look forward to that. I'm sure there are a lot of young ladies who really look up to such initiatives and want to be part of it. So, talking about that legendary and iconic road trip from Accra to London that recently made waves, and I'm sure the spotlight was drawn on you. People started to hear about you, get to know who you are. I'm sure interviews were flying left, right, center. So, You were the only lady on the team, right? It was, I think, a fleet of about 13 cars, and you were the only lady on that team. So how did that come about? How were you involved in this program? How did you get involved in the whole road trip adventure?
So it was five cars that eventually left Ghana. Before the
Okay.
five cars, the group is actually larger than the 13 that have been mentioned. We have a lot of people in the background, those that couldn't go for good reasons. So before then, we had branded about maybe 20 or 25 vehicles. One of us is a large group. Now I
Mm.
got involved because I have interest in cars. I
Okay.
felt space. I knew it would be a learning curve for me because you would agree with me that Accra to Tamale or Accra to your workplace doesn't give you true true results of how your vehicles perform, what your vehicles need, your driving
Very
ability.
true.
So I realized that if I'm able to push the boundaries of my expertise, if driving through the jungles throughout to the Sahara Desert, I'll be able to know how these cars fare in the different terrain, how the weather affects it, how the climate, the topography will affect its performance. And indeed, it was a worthwhile trip. I want to call it a boot camp for Shecanic because I
Okay.
learned a whole lot. I learned a lot. So it was a learning curve for me. It was brilliant.
Amazing. So I've read where people were saying you were actually the mechanic on the road trip. Is that right? You were the one who was assessing the condition of the cars and repairing it and all that.
I wish I can take the credits for all of that. Yes, this is my job. Maybe if I was a barber, the
Mm.
story would be she was the one cutting their hair on the trip. But
Yeah.
no, you see, Wanderlust is a group of guys who don't only love driving, but they also understand their vehicle and they know how to troubleshoot and fix their cars. As I said, it was a learning curve for me. So initially, I went in as Shecanic. I took my diagnostic tools. I was going to ready to fix things. But it was on a trip I realized that, hey, Nana, yes, you've been doing this for years, but it will be wiser for you to take a step back and learn from these men as well. I believe in positive synergy where you'd want to learn as much as you can. I mean, being a leader, part of being a leader is being willing to learn and grow by asking questions and learning. So, yes, I wish I could say, yes, I was the mechanic on the chip and I was fixing A, B, C, D, but no, these men, especially Kwame Pepa, there's a gentleman called Kwame Pepa. We
Okay.
call him in Sabah Jeremy Clarkson because he was very hands on and I learned a lot from him. So, yes, even though it's my trade as an auto technician, I wasn't the one fixing the cars on the trip.
I want you to share with us maybe how the experience was like after you returned and then you started gaining some level of recognition to the national level, even international level. How has it been, and how has that kind of fed into Shecanics as a whole?
Interestingly, we had decided that there was going to be media silence until we got to Spain. So if you realize, it was when the group had crossed onto Spain that the news broke. We're very intentional about it because number one, there's quite a lot of conflicts going through these countries within Africa that I'm sure you're already aware. So we needed to keep that media silence. Um, how has it impacted? Oh, immensely, immensely. I mean, just having people walk up to me and identify with this story and say, hey, I have a little girl back home and I want her to have internship with you. That for me was the impact that my decision to go on a trip has made. And I can't even begin to tell you the feeling. I look forward to so many things in the future. It looks like this is the beginning of wonderful things for not just for Shecanic, but all the women, all the ladies who are already in this space, the hardworking ladies who have been working hard just to make an impact. I know a couple of ladies who own car washes, who detail vehicles, who they are out there. This is not just for Shecanic, this is for all the women who are working hard in this space.
What does the future hold for Shecanic in the next 10, 15, 20 years?
Now, so the plan is to set up the biggest and efficient auto hub
Okay.
and academy. You agree with me that mostly what we learn in school and what goes on in the job market is worlds apart, like day and night.
That's
Now,
true.
the thing about cars and technology is every day, just like your mobile phone, every day something new comes up.
Yeah.
So we are left behind when because we are still learning the carburetor engine days. We don't know what's going on now. So Shecanic soon in the future would have the most efficient hub that will repair vehicles real time, and an academy to train young women as well. That's one. Number two, we're going to roll out a couple of STEM initiatives where we'd go to schools to empower young women, extend to African countries to empower young women, and then have a world tour as well. So, Shikanic, as I said, is a movement. It goes beyond an A4, and I am certain that with this exposure, a lot of women will come on board and make this a success.
I will say amen to that. So, are you opening up for maybe collaborations with other people who want to probably take Shikanic to a next level?
Absolutely, absolutely. This is what the dream is about. We are open for collaborations on all levels, partnerships, collaboration, because we need to change the status quo. It is my one vision, utmost vision, for us to change the narrative. I mean, it's we
Yes.
shouldn't stifle these young girls to toe just one line every time. Why should you, after graduating with the all the best degrees in the world, you're home and not finding something to do? It's because of these societal norms. So we open to collaborations on all levels to make this successful.
All right. I'm sure our listeners who want to collaborate, they are hearing this and they should reach out to you on your social media platforms. We'll leave it in the description of the podcast so that they can reach out to you for collaborations and partnerships. So, Nanifa, we've spoken about Shikanic, we've spoken about the upward journey you are on, some of the highlights of your journey so far. But we also like to know what has been the most significant challenge that you have faced so far on this journey.
Oh dear. So every day I keep meeting something new. So, but the most recent is getting to people's mindsets. So people come to my shop and they already have a certain mindset. It's either, oh, she cannot do it, or she's just going to mess things up. So that has been the challenge, having to get into someone's mindset.
Mm.
However, this has been a reason for me to study twice as much, read twice as much, inquire twice as much, work hard twice as much as the men or the male mechanics out there, because I need to show myself approved and credible, that it goes beyond just, oh, okay, she's a young girl doing this, but there has to be a reason why you will stay and repeat the business you have with me. So that has been the challenge, people's mindsets. But I'm sure with time, it will be something that one day we'll just laugh about over a bottle of a
Yes.
drink. Yeah.
Also like to know if there's any peculiar challenge you faced on the road trip from Accra to London.
Oh my goodness. So the need to understand French, learn
Oh,
French, speak the basics of
okay. You
French.
are you are you are residents in Ghana. Ghana is bordered by French-speaking countries, so it's
Yes,
understandable.
yes, yes. So the need to learn the language, it is, I think it will be the most important thing. If you plan on going on a road trip through West Africa, at
Yeah.
least, you should know French. You should know French, because imagine you have to sign sign to someone and you need to use a bathroom. How is that
Wow.
done? And for a woman now signing to a young man, how am I supposed to do? Like, touch some places or
Yeah.
point at some places? It was quite interesting. It was that to me, it's something that remains in my as a core memory.
Amazing, amazing. So I'm sure you guys anticipated you are going to probably face a language barrier, and probably you guys prepared a little bit for it, or
Oh,
it
oh
or it took you by
yes.
surprise.
No, luckily, one of us still remembered his secondary school
His high school French.
French French
Wow.
lessons, so he was able to help us. He was of great help to us actually. He's called Kobna Ayurebi. He
Oh, Kobina
works with
Irebe.
yes, he's based in Egypt right now. He was
Oh, okay.
fantastic. He was
Okay.
fantastic.
Shout out to you, Kwabena. Okay, thank you so much, Nane. For I think our time is up, but we would like you to leave us with your last words for maybe last words of advice or an encouragement for young ladies who are looking up to you for inspiration, who have heard your story and are also motivated and they're also empowered to do the kind of things that you are doing. What words would you have for such young ladies?
Oh, there's so much to say. I feel I'm talking to my younger self right now.
Wow.
Um, there's so much to say. Now, going on this trip, I identified an opportunity and I leveraged on it. What do I mean? I initially sent a proposal
Okay.
offering to give them maybe oils or coolant or check their cars for them or have it prepared for the trip. Fast forward, I was given the opportunity to join, to be part of it. Now,
Wow.
this story is a story of persistence, of determination, of offering your service for free, number one, and then you get the results later on. What I'll tell the young people listening to me is do not be keep focused, keep
Okay.
being determined, keep focused, love what you do, bring passion into what you do. Do not go looking for something you're passionate about, but rather bring passion into whatever it is that you're doing. And it's when you do that, when you're able to break through societal norms, do you not only bring success to yourself but also make an impact for the whole world to see and celebrate you as well. That's what I
Okay.
have to say.
Thank you so much, Danifwa. It has been an honor. It has been a privilege having you on our podcast today. I'm sure our listeners have learned a thing or two from everything that you've shared with us and you have spurred them on, especially young women, to also go on and achieve and do wonderful things. So before we say goodbye, we'd like you to maybe mention your social media handles or how people can reach out to you.
So my social media handles is Shecanic GH on Instagram, Shecanic on Facebook, Shecanic GH on Threads, on Twitter, and LinkedIn. Now YouTube it is Shecanic GH as well. So Shecanic GH all across the platforms.
Wow. So, guys, she's everywhere. You can search for her on all social media platforms and you're going to find her. And to our lovely listeners, I'm sure you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and then catch us another time for another exclusive African content. Bye bye.